Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Salesforce Live. Wherever you're joining us from, Australia, New Zealand, indeed around the world, hello and welcome to what promises to be a really great event. I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we stand, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I'd also like to extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people joining us today. And for our friends across the seas in New Zealand, we would also like to acknowledge the Mana Whenua, the traditional guardians of the land. We bid you welcome. Nai mai, haere mai. My name is Tommy McCubbin and I'll be your host for today, where we focus on retail and consumer goods trailblazers, industries that have had a dramatic 18 months to say the least. Now, somehow through 2020, I managed to create a TV show for Channel 9 during lockdown in my living room, which was broadcast nationally called The Rebound. Now, the show's strapline was helping Australian businesses rebound out of the pandemic. And we based the show's narrative on 3 pillars: business, technology and empowerment. A lot of these ideas we'll touch on today. Now, when I sat down with the Salesforce team to discuss the themes for this episode, we had one immediately rise to the top that resonated with us all. Acceleration. Acceleration of technology, acceleration of adoption, acceleration of change and opportunity. It's an idea that continues to impact us, our teams, our commercial partners, and importantly, our customers. Now, I like content to be fast, insightful, and dense. So the next 90 minutes will be packed full of big ideas and pearls of wisdom from some of the country's best operators in the industry. Coca-Cola Amatil, Super Retail Group, Mecca, Barbecues Galore, and of course, the experts from Salesforce. So strap yourself in. It's time to take a look at the great acceleration of retail and consumer goods. The pandemic knocked the chessboard of retail and consumer goods, with nearly all the pieces losing their footing momentarily. As the dust settled from the snap lockdowns, reality set in, leaving some of those chess pieces fumbling around in the new normal, as other pieces found their feet fast, as if they'd been waiting for the disruption all along, showing agility, making bold moves and capitalising on the new white space of demand. Up until 2020, the adoption of technology was rising at an exponential, albeit steady rate. Then we saw several years of tech adoption happen in several weeks. We blinked and the shape of dominant brands had transformed. Priorities reset, business models recalibrated, customers inspired. This episode, we look at how the experience has changed for customers of some of the world's biggest brands and the tech and tools that are driving that innovation. So let's take a look at some key moments and numbers that redefined the Australian consumer's world. Now first, I've got a story that helps bring some of these numbers to life. It was about April and Melbourne was in complete lockdown. It was about the time of Zoom beers every Friday. I remember, we're all grateful those days are behind us. I was speaking with a friend of mine who was saying his mum, who's in her 80s, needed a new TV, and he walked her through her first online purchase. Now sure enough, the box arrived on her doorstep within 48 hours and her mind was sufficiently blown. The next Friday we caught up again and he mentioned she had spoiled herself with a spanking new Dyson vacuum which she was tracking on her mobile. Once an online shopper, it appears you're always an online shopper. Stories like this were all too common. According to Australia Post, 900,000 new households shopped online for the first time, with retirees embracing couch commerce. This segment saw the highest online growth by 231% year on year. In business, it could be said it was almost always a case of big beats small, but the pandemic accelerated e-commerce at its fastest adoption rate in history, making it anyone's game. Let's take a look at some numbers that are from Salesforce Shopping Index, which measures the shopping behaviours and interactions of more than 1 billion consumers globally and in Australia. The latest statistics show that growth was up 80% year on year in the 8 weeks since the World Health Organization made the pandemic official, making it clear that the industry has not only kicked up a gear, it's officially gone into overdrive. Global online sales revenue, April through June in 2020, grew by an unprecedented 71% compared to the previous year. We've over-indexed in Australia and New Zealand, where there was 140% digital commerce growth, despite many physical storefronts reopening in May. More evidence the online buying behaviour is a sticky one. Sites offering click and collect or curbside pickup options saw digital revenues grow by 120% year on year, while sites that operate physical stores but did not offer pickup options, they only grew by 54%. Finally, orders from social channel referral grew 104% across the entire industry. Now, these numbers make it clear we all accelerated our buying behaviours to be more digital, more connected and more social, via our screens, of course. Another major trend that accelerated was brands cutting out the middleman and going direct to their consumer. According to Inside FMCG, the D2C market is forecast to hit $20 billion globally this year. Now, everything is on the table. Everything from chocolate bars to washing detergent. Just ask Unilever. E-commerce sales at the number 6 consumer goods company grew by 61% in 2020 to make up 9% of its business. Growth was recorded across all regions, with omnichannel e-commerce growing 100% and pure play up about 50%. Its B2B e-commerce channel also grew 65%, with the segment reaching 1.5 million stores at the end of the year. As a result, Unilever is transforming its distributor business to seize opportunities in the segment, including leveraging consumer insights for channel-relevant assortments. Now, it's a pretty strong business case to start investing in selling directly. And if you're still working to your pre-2020 go-to-market strategies, it could be time to revisit them and start making some calculated bets. There are a few ingredients that seem to be consistent through those who are growing and creating value. Some are obvious, but across the industry are not always a high priority. The first is an omni-channel approach to how you show up. Being where the customer is means brands have had to create liquid experiences that are in every channel. Next, embracing new technologies from core platforms to experimental innovations. Moore's law of increasing computing power continues to invent new ways of creating value for the business and for the customer, with the real world and simulated world melting into one. So, example, augmented reality showed promise of transforming how customers can try on clothes. But it never really got there. But never take your eye off early technologies. The third is brands that show genuine transparency in their manufacturing, operations, comms. It all goes into building what the brand means and how your customer frames you up. Customers wear brands like a badge, where the ones with the purpose and the true action to back that up, they're heralded like fashion brands. Now, the flip side is brands have to be held accountable, so it can backfire. And the last and most obvious, value. Provide genuine value in context to me, your customer. Surprise me with a solution to a problem I didn't even know I had. Later in the show, we count down the top 10 customer experience moments that do exactly this. So let's look at how Salesforce make all this easier, from planning to execution, both now and into the future. The scale of Salesforce's impact is incredible. Let me rattle off a few numbers here. In just 24 hours, Salesforce powers through 2.6 billion marketing messages, 1.9 million online transactions, and almost 20 million customer service calls. And something we'll go deeper on later, Einstein. Salesforce's artificial intelligence makes 80 billion predictions each and every day. These are some of the customers that are behind those numbers, brands that touch our lives dozens of times every day. As I mentioned earlier, today has some great guests. We explore Mecca's groundbreaking store with Sam Bain. Meet the CEO of Barbecues Galore, Angus MacDonald, on how they add value to their customers well before, during and after the purchase. And we look at the seamless mobile experience of Super Retail Group's power brand, Rebel. But now, let's go inside the epic world of Coca-Cola Amateur with Sarah O'Toole, who leads digital delivery. Welcome to Salesforce Live, Sarah.
Thanks, Tommy.
So you make keeping millions of Australians refreshed look very easy. What goes in to achieving that?
Yes, well, we are a huge regional beverage powerhouse and we are responsible for markets outside Australia, such as Indonesia and New Zealand. And within Australia, we do deliver to 98% of postcodes, so we've got a really far reach with a huge supply chain operation, as well as lots and lots of customers who are in retail, who are online and are in our on-the-go channels.
You guys are leading the way as far as creating an omnichannel experience for your customers, whether that's the fish and chip shop or major supermarket chains. Is this an ongoing process, or do you think you're there?
It's been an ongoing transformation journey, which we started back in 2018. And for us, it's been around uplifting our customer experience, uplifting our employee experience, and it's really about our customers being able to interact with us through their channel of choice, whether it's through the sales rep, whether it's through contacting the contact centres, or actually going online to place an order or pay their invoice.
It's interesting, we've got all these tools at our disposal, all these channels, and the customer is literally in all of them. How do you know which channel's right for technology to be the interface, and where do you say that needs the human touch and nuance?
Yeah, great question. So I think for us, what's really important is that we create shared value with our customers. So really using technology to free up our sales reps, our BDEs, to just go out and have those value conversations with our customers and help them be more profitable and help us be more profitable.
Now that you're building this incredibly powerful 360 view of the customer,
Yep.
what are some of the benefits which you didn't kind of expect to fall out of that?
So I think for customers, they feel like they're getting a really personalised experience. So we have really rich data now about our customers. So if they call our contact centre agents really know them. And also, if we're sending out marketing campaigns, they can be really, really specific down to even the postcode they're in or the type of customer they are.
So if you're constantly in a state of change, internally, you must have to have a culture of agility to pull that off. What goes into creating, maintaining and growing like that?
Absolutely, Tommy. We are always trying to deliver millions of moments of happiness and possibility for our customers. And to really do that, one of our values is really thinking about today and tomorrow. So we try to bring that into everything we do.
What's next? You said you're never going to be there yet. What's the work you're focusing on next to continually optimise?
Yeah, so I think for us, we are really now moving into, instead of being really transactional-driven tasks, we're getting data insights and insight-driven tasks, which is really able to, ensure that we are focusing everyone on the right activities and we're searching and delivering the pots of gold for customers.
Thank you for joining us, Sarah. Coca-Cola Amatil have a network that truly spans the country and beyond. Let's look at 3 ways Salesforce help make this happen. The first is they have one centralised platform. Customers of all shapes and sizes can connect and order on that engagement platform. The second, they have data points which build one single customer view. Every time a customer interacts with the Salesforce-powered interface, a data point is created, which builds up to tell a remarkably powerful data profile, which gives Coca-Cola Amatil a single view of the customer. And the third, it's proactive reporting. From a macro point of view, Salesforce feedback analytics that create insights and value for Coca-Cola Amatil that inform and shape everything from comms, operations, distribution and marketing. To learn more about how Salesforce can help you build your brand's single customer view, head over to the live demonstrations.